Hey guys, it's Jordan with 2YT and 2YT Politics. I am here live from a parking garage in Columbus, Ohio, as I wait for my fearless colleague Emma Vigeland to arrive. I'll be getting her. So this trip will be covering Dr. Jill Stein, a distant fourth right now in the polls. She is varying between, I'd say, 6%, anywhere I've seen as high as 8%. So I'm covering her. She's going to be at a rally tomorrow in Columbus, Ohio. Then she'll be in the Cleveland area Friday evening. Then I'll be following her to Detroit, Michigan, Saturday morning. I myself will be going down to Flint Saturday afternoon / Saturday night. I don't believe Jill Stein is going down there, but I myself want to go down there along with Emma, do some interviews. I haven't been able to go down myself since this awful lead crisis began in Flint. So I definitely want to do, my type of reporting down there. I've been posting on Facebook, trying to, get the outreach that I'm going to Flint. If there's people there in Flint who have been affected, who want to talk to me, can show me some of the places in the environment most affected. I'm looking for personal stories, human interest, as well as delivering new information. Obviously, the politicians like Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, used Flint leading up to the Michigan primary. They went down there, wanted to hear your concerns. Now that Michigan's over, you don't hear a lot from them about Flint. Go figure. You also don't hear a lot about Flint from the media anymore. So I'm, going down because I believe that you're supposed to cover things, not when it's convenient, not when it's around a primary, not even when it's in the news, but when it's less convenient and when the spotlight is off of it. It's not like the residents of Flint have been made whole. It's not like the children who have brain damage have been made whole. So I will be going down there. As I said, I've been on Facebook putting out messages that I'll be there. So if you are from Flint, if you know people from Flint, even nearby areas, message me on Facebook. And that will be that. Then I will be going from Flint to North Dakota. Obviously, the Dakota Access Pipeline has been big in the news. Actress Shailene Woodley, other activists have been there alongside protesters who have literally been camping out in tents for weeks to protest this new pipeline, which, like the rest of the pipelines, are going to do wave havoc on the environment in North Dakota. Dirty oil, dirty chemicals, fracking, the whole nine. So I will be there. Instead of at the beach on Labor Day, I will be in North Dakota, where I've always wanted to go. And I will be with the protesters, interviewing them, hopefully getting some answers. So I wanted to kind of talk about this trip because in reality, me covering Jill Stein, I'm sorry to tell you guys, Jill Stein, she's not going to be president. Okay? I hopefully will interview her on this trip. I would probably say the same thing to her. But I think that it's important still to cover people like Jill Stein because the mainstream media only gives you this prism of two candidates. They look at it that way because these are the only two candidates that could logically to them win. But you only start branching out of this two-party facade and this two-party prism that the mainstream media and the politicians have developed if you put a spotlight on third parties and fourth parties, whatever you want to call it. So that's what I'm doing. It's not only about covering people that have a chance to win. It's about covering people who have something different to say, covering people who have inspired a shit ton of people. Jill Stein has brought over to her a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters, and obviously Bernie Sanders got 13 million votes, I believe. So Jill Stein is an important person to cover, whether she has a chance to win or not. So I will be covering her. I also am excited to go to Detroit because I think coupled with Jill Stein being there, Detroit is a real symbol for the destruction of the middle class. Detroit used to be kind of, a Renaissance city, manufacturing jobs, a stable middle class, only one parent had to work. You could take a vacation. You could save for retirement. And then they started offshoring all the jobs. And then it went from places like Flint, places like Detroit, to all over the industrial Midwest. So Detroit, it's the disappearing city, the disappearing middle class, has been coming back a little bit, but it's a real symbol for what Bernie called the disappearing middle class. So I'm happy to cover Jill Stein there and also put a spotlight on Detroit specifically. And of course, I'm happy to cover Flint because I think that, as you saw in my reporting in East Chicago, Indiana, I think that what we're seeing now is not only bureaucratic incompetence, but ideological radicalism that is putting our kids and our adults in danger. You have people like Governor of Michigan, Rick Snyder, who, to cut a few costs because he has to give tax breaks to the millionaires, the corporations, cut a few corners, cut some breaks. Forgot to kind of, pay for that or, invest in that filtering system that makes the water clean to drink. Oh, we don't need that. It'll be fine. Well, look what happened. You had mass lead contamination and poisoning, and now hundreds, if not thousands, of children are, have brain damage for the rest of their life. You saw in East Chicago, Indiana, whether it was EPA incompetence, the local city government incompetence. You had poor black people basically living and breathing lead because their low-income housing was on top of a lead smeltering pipes. So this isn't just about environmental toxicity and danger. It's also about greed. It's also about extremism at the governor's level, to local officials. I need to give tax breaks to my donors. I need to give tax breaks to the people who vote for me that fund my party. So I'll cut costs on making sure the water's filtered properly. In Indiana, let's just build all the lead and contamination here. We'll put the black people here. We're not going to do that in a nice white neighborhood, of course. So I'm excited to cover these things. And of course, the North Dakota story is important because, there's pipeline after pipeline being built around the country. And look at what's going on. You've seen spills in South Dakota. You've seen families having to move because they're getting sick next to fracking pipelines. So Dakota will be a very interesting story to cover. I haven't been able to cover many environmental things on the trail, so I'm looking forward to that. And of course, we're coming off our recent trip. I was in Florida covering Tim Canova. I covered Alan Grayson. Obviously, they both lost. I did a video blog on that yesterday, so I hope if you haven't watched it, go to TYT Politics. I gave you my thoughts on that, as well as Bernie Sanders, who did not ever respond to Tim Canova, which basically left him high and dry, if we're keeping it real. And for the people who have tweeted me and say, Jordan, you were a big Bernie boy, Bernie bro, and now you're turning on him. First of all, I was never a Bernie bro. I made it clear that I supported Bernie Sanders personally, but I always said I'm a journalist first, and if Bernie Sanders did something that needed negative coverage, I'd be the first one to do it. So it's not me turning on Bernie Sanders. I will cover corruption. I will cover, politics as usual, wherever it comes from. And it happens to be coming from Bernie Sanders. I don't think he's being corrupt, but is he being a politician? Did he make some type of deal which made him go dark in the final hour where Tim Canova needed him most? Yeah, he did. So, I got to keep it real, but I'm not turning on Bernie Sanders. And also, I just want to make you guys aware that we're going to be working on a little video series coming up when I'm back and have more time. To kind of actually look backwards, because we have so much video content during the primaries, so many good moments, so many great characters we met, so many powerful quotes I got from interviews, and we're kind of do a video series looking back, because I think it's important not just to keep churning out video content, but also to look back and kind of reflect on what we learned, what stories affected me the most, Eric the most, Emma the most, best and worst of Donald Trump, best and worst of Bernie, Hillary Clinton, the whole nine. Frankly, I should have done it right after the primaries ended, but I've been a little busy. So I'd like to do this because I think it would be great to go through some of the footage and kind of give our take on it, because I am a journalist, but I've definitely been affected by a lot of these interviews, a lot of these moments, a lot of the people I met, starting in December when I interviewed a Vietnam vet out in 10-degree weather, stumping for Bernie, all the way to this most recent week when I met a great guy named Fred Frost, who was a union guy. I met great volunteers, powerful things said to me on camera and off. So I think it would be a great, just checking something. I think it would be a great thing for you guys to see, what we thought of these moments from the primary. And a little personal note for me, I will be getting a minor surgery. If you haven't heard for the last 9 months, I can't breathe out of my nose. I have a really bad sinus infections and very narrow nostril, which I've later learned. So I'll be getting surgery next Thursday. No big deal. Shouldn't be out more than a few days. So Emma and Eric will be taking over in my place while I get that fixed. Hopefully, the surgery will be helping me to breathe. More importantly, helping me to get good sleep because I've been sleeping like shit for the last 9 months. So that's my deal. And I hope you guys will tune in this tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. I know it's Labor Day weekend, so you guys will be busy, barbecuing, beaches, whatever you're doing. We'll be out there on the road with Jill Stein, trying to turn around videos as quickly as possible for you. So I hope you guys will watch. That's the preview of this trip. I will be interviewing Jill Stein at some point. I'm going to try to post it, do it live on Facebook, preferably from the Young Turks Facebook page to get a little bit more viewership. So stay tuned to TYT Politics page as well as the Young Turks page. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great weekend.